Okay, what's up, y'all? It's your girl Anna. This video we're gonna be talking about 5 things I learned about relationships after already being in a relationship. Now that could be good or that could be bad. I be still trying to figure it out myself. But here are some things like I'm learning while in a relationship that I probably could have learned by myself, but I'm learning while I'm in a relationship. Number one, friendship. Friendship is like something that is like really important to me in a relationship. Like the longer I'm in a relationship and I'm realizing, sometimes, we don't have like things that we like always, do together or, want to do together. I'm realizing that like trying to build a friendship before being in a relationship makes the relationship much easier. Now, it's not to say that it cannot be something that you can do while in the relationship, but it do kind of make it harder to build a friendship in a relationship than if you already had built it before you were in a relationship. Because when you already built it before you were in a relationship, then y'all already had that friendship, and then you can carry those things on into the relationship, and it just builds stronger. As in when you kind of get in a relationship a little bit early, and y'all really didn't have time to build that friendship, then sometimes it can cause conflict in a relationship because y'all haven't had enough time to become friends first and have things that y'all are interested in or that y'all do together prior to all the relational responsibilities. So that's number one. Definitely seek friendship first before committing to a relationship. Number two, get to know yourself. Get to know yourself. Relationships are much easier when you know yourself and you know what you like, you know what you don't like, you know what you need and the things you can compromise on and you things you can't compromise on. Once again, when you know those things prior to being in a relationship, it makes the relationship easier because you're not surprised, you know what I mean? And you're not like taken aback by when you're learning things about the person you might not like because you kind of nip those things in the bud before you commit to that person. So when you are by yourself and you're learning and you know yourself already, then there's certain things that before committing to the relationship, you will already like know if you can tolerate or not. As in when you get in a relationship, when you don't know what's your non-negotiables or things like that, or you're learning them while being in it, it could make the relationship really hard and like confusing for you because it's like you're changing. You know what I mean? It's like when you first got in a relationship, you really didn't know what you liked and what you didn't like, and you got into the relationship and you accepted it. But then as you start to grow and start to learn yourself, then you start to get irritated and like resentful of that person because you're like, dang, I don't really like this, or I don't really want to deal with this, or this is not something that I like anymore. And that could have been prevented prior to being in a relationship. Number three, have confidence in yourself and who you are prior to being in a relationship. I feel like I had learned this really the hard way by being in my relationship because I feel like I would over compromise myself trying to be there for that person or like doing what they need because I didn't have enough confidence in myself. And when I say over compromising, not just in the way of like you're doing things for them, but over compromising who you are because you're trying to make them comfortable. So it'll be things, this kind of goes to number two. There'll be things that you're learning that you like and don't like. And if you're not secure and confident in yourself, when you express those things and that person kind of give you like feedback or like pushback on that thing, you start to second guess yourself because you don't know who you are enough and you're not confident enough in yourself to be able to stand ground on what you believe. And then that can cause a lot of chaos in a relationship because now you're over compromising in areas that you're not really comfortable in doing. But because you didn't have that confidence and that security in yourself prior, then you can like find yourself trying to do things that you really don't have the capacity to do. So like definitely like knowing who you are and having confidence in yourself prior to being in a relationship. And in a sense, that goes into number 4. Um, Being able to validate yourself on your own. I feel like I had struggled with that a lot in this relationship. I had dealt with a lot of insecurities. Didn't really notice it prior to being in a relationship, but like I'm noticing now, like I have a lot of insecurities. And I didn't notice that I had insecurities because I was like, most times when you hear about insecurities, it's like, at least the way I learned about insecurities is like being insecure in your physical appearance. And that's not really me. I feel like I deal with more like shame, doubt, and guilt. You know what I mean? So when you are a person that deal with like shame and you doubt yourself and you feel guilty for things, then you second guess yourself a lot once again. So one thing that I struggled with in the relationship was needing to feel overly validated by the person that I was with, needing their attention all the time, needing to, need them to validate and reassure me in my thoughts. You know what I mean? If I felt something, I needed your opinion. If I wear something, I need to hear a compliment for you to make me feel good and be sure that what I'm wearing is good. Or, you know what I mean? If I wanted to do something, I wouldn't say I needed to do it with you, but like, I just always seek validation from you first instead of myself. And I guess that goes back to like everything I've been saying, like just getting to know yourself prior to being in a relationship, because I'm realizing like now that I'm in a relationship and I have 2 kids and we about to get committed and stuff like that, my relationship is becoming unreasonably hard. And not unreasonably hard because it's necessarily their fault. Now, yes, that person can help you, but I'm realizing there was a lot of aspects of myself that I didn't have together first. And now I'm going through these struggles and like stuff like that prior that I didn't have to go that I really didn't have to go through if I had the time to get to know myself first, if that makes sense. And lastly, sex. Sex. I know y'all hear it in a Christian, but I'm not even coming. Well, yeah, I am coming from a Christian perspective. Wait to have sex before marriage. This is like wait to have sex until after marriage. I am really learning the power of that later on. Y'all know I got 2 kids already. Look, hey, it's okay to learn after. There's nothing wrong with like learning something after, because a lot of times we don't know. I'm 22 years old, so that means when I first met the person that I'm with, I was 18 or 19. Okay, so I didn't know a lot of stuff that I knew. Okay, that I know now. But really waiting to have sex, because sex is a blinder. Sex is a blinder. Sex is good. It's meant to be a good thing. But if you use it too soon or experience it too soon, then you can find yourself being in a relationship or being in something that you're not quite ready for, or something that is like an attachment other than what it's supposed to be, because you did already opened yourself up to that, if that makes sense. So like, I still struggle to this day. I'm not gonna say I'm a super promiscuous person or really care about sex, but I am learning that because I had sex first, that I kind of rely on that for times when I'm unsure, or you know what I mean, like kind of rely on that to keep the relationship moving. You know what I mean? And that's not really good, because sex cannot be the only thing that keep the relationship moving. But sometimes I feel like that, like if I feel like I'm not really getting what I need out of a relationship, if we didn't have sex prior, I probably would have been like, you know what, this is maybe not something I need to deal with. But it's like, now it's like, okay, well maybe if we had sex, you know what I mean? And this is a little transparent, I'm just being honest, and this is not to shame anybody or anything like that, but sometimes it gets to that point, you know what I mean, especially if y'all don't connect on anything else. The sex is like the binder of the relationship, unfortunately. And you don't want to be in a situation or a relationship where sex is the only way that y'all connect, because then, like I said, you will grow resentful of the person, or eventually that will fade away. Like, sex cannot be the only thing that keeps the relationship going or keep the spice there. especially if you're not really like me, like not really a sexual person, eventually, once you get tired of the whole sex thing and you feel burnt out, you're gonna start realizing, okay, I need more than this. You know what I mean? I need more. I can't just operate on physical. You know what I mean? So I feel like waiting prevents a lot of problems that you don't have to go through. Like you wouldn't have to go through. You know what I mean? Um, just a lot of problems. You know what I mean? Babies, you get what I'm saying? That makes it harder. You know, sometimes when you're learning and you're growing, you want to make sure your family is good, or like I said, attachment, those problems, not being able to think straight. Like sex causes a lot of confusion and like unnecessary like what's the word, like prolonging. Like sometimes it will prolong things that's not good because of the sex aspect. I know a lot of people and see a lot of people, shoot, maybe even myself, that's like have been in things longer than what they should be off the strength of sex. Literally. Off the strength of sex when you break it down. So like I'm learning that waiting on God is the most important thing to do. And waiting to do things and move forward, because that's supposed to be something you share in a marriage. Waiting to do that thing when you have already established all those other things, because they do make it hard. Now, I'm not saying you can't work on these things after being in a relationship, and I feel like that's kind of the space that I am in right now. I'm working on these things after already being in a committed relationship, but what I am saying, it does make it harder, because now you have to put up boundaries and you have to, you know, kind of like you kind of have to like withdraw yourself to somebody you already connected with or trying or already with, and like that kind of makes it hard, you know, at least for me, because relationships is a deep intimate thing. That's something that you're supposed to like be intimate in, you're supposed to be, you know, all lovey-dovey in. But when you are trying to work on like insecurities, you're trying to build your confidence, when you're trying to, you know, work on yourself and lean on God, and you're trying to do those things in a relationship, sometimes it can make you hard, especially if your partner is not in that same space all the time, or if, you know what I mean, it's not something that they might be working on or something like that. So it do make it harder. It's possible to do it, and it is possible to work on it and get better and build a relationship while you're doing those things, but it does make it harder. And I'm not saying like having all these things will make your relationship easy, because you know you can have all those things and then get a relationship and you'll still have problems. But what I am recognizing is I have to take the extra steps now to do things, which, like I said, I could have done by myself without distractions or without commitment or without, you know what I mean, restrictions, if that makes sense. And kind of really like focused on those things myself. To them, when I got into a relationship, everything was cool. But now it's like, okay, I'm in a relationship, I'm committed to the relationship. This is the person I love, this person I want to be with. But I'm recognizing there are some fundamental issues within myself. And there might be some fundamental issues with that person, but that is not the focus right now. You know what I'm saying? You can't always focus on that person. You have to focus on yourself. There are some fundamental issues with myself that I have to get together. So now I have to go the extra extent to try to undo things that shouldn't have been done. Like now I have to try not to have sex when I've already had sex. You know what I mean? Now I have to try to create space when we already are close. You know what I mean? Now I have to take the extra steps to go find myself and do things when you really want to go do things with that person, or you want that person to be with you, but you're recognizing that, okay, I'm a little too codependent on you. So now, like, I had to take that extra step to go out, you know what I mean, by myself, or you know what I mean. So it just like make it harder sometimes, and it could be overwhelming and like irritating, and it do make you want to give up. But I personally love the partner that I'm with, and like I don't want our relationship to like dissolve or anything like that. So I take the extra steps to try to do it myself, and hopefully everything work out in the future. I can't focus on the future, but like I just now have to like take super extra steps now to like do things that I know would have been easier if I had worked on them prior. But it's okay. It's nothing wrong with that. That's what relationships are for. They put light on some of the things that you might have not noticed, if that makes sense. So it's not always bad, you know what I mean, to like be with somebody and like these things are coming up. It's just a matter of what you do with it and how committed you are to that person, if that makes sense. Like, you know what I mean? It is easy to be like, I'm gonna just walk away and just work on this stuff myself. And I don't know, probably some people could argue that is probably the best thing, but like the way I go about it is like I would like to do everything I could first with the person, or do everything I could first to sort everything out before like giving up or like trying to walk away, if that makes sense. So I'm just in a phase now where like I'm being transparent. My relationship is really hard, and not hard because of like cheating or arguing or like that, but really because I'm changing and I'm growing as a person, and it makes it hard sometimes for me to like do make that change and like um really heal and work when I'm also like committed and thinking about somebody else. So I would say like just take the time out to really get to know yourself and really like experience yourself on your own. That way you know what you don't like, what you do like, know what you can tolerate, what you can't tolerate, know that you're confident and you are sure within yourself, and you have discipline and hobbies and friends and like all those things that make you who you are prior to being in a relationship, so that your life does not become codependent on a relationship. So those are like the 5 things I would say that I learned after being in a relationship that um, if I had knew earlier, I would have kind of focused on and like really took the time out to do.